I think we're live.
Good morning, angels.
Fun. I can't unmute Arlen. Not the same. You will not let me unmute. It's not nearly as much fun if I can't unmute you. I have no idea why it won't let me. It just tells me no, I can't do that. So I don't know if that's because I stopped playing.
Well.
I stopped playing for StreamYard. For those of you at home who haven't figured that out, I'm like, screw you, streamer. You're not doubling what I pay for you and expect me to be happy for it. I know there's a coupon and I know all that. I'm actually kind of like in the bitter, jaded phase right now, Arwyn. We're like,
I get it.
You guys.
I get it. With StreamYards, yeah, I get it.
Well, it's like I almost did a video on it because clearly here's what's actually happened. They're screwing with people, right? Like, well, they're going to double the amount of money, and then they just don't care if they lose half the customers, so it's the same amount of revenue. So they really are just like thumbing their nose at you because they know they have to invest more money on infrastructure to keep this going. And I feel like this is their backhanded way of like, I don't know, getting rid of a bunch of people. And I'm like, you know what? So I'm going to try a couple other services and see and switch. So. But yeah, House on Haunted Hill, Arwyn. We're going to have a good time.
Yay, I can't wait. Although I do have something to admit about this movie.
Okay, let's do it.
I love this movie, but I love pretty much anything Vincent Price.
Agreed.
Completely. But when I first saw it, I saw the Riff Tracks version. So I laughed my booty off.
Yeah.
So the scare factor didn't quite hit me, but I still appreciate it for what it is and the time that it was made. And it's a staple. I watch it all the time. I love it.
I'm a massive Vincent Price fan as well. I will be honest, and my confession would be I have never seen the Riff Tracks version because I love this movie too much. Like I get it. I can't do it to myself. I'm like, you know what I mean? It's like they could riff track certain movies, and I'm totally down with it.
Yes.
I get it. I could riff track this movie too, probably, but yeah, no thanks. I'm not gonna do that. No. Yeah. So, all right, let's get to this wonderful chat first. We have Hale. I don't know how to. So it's FKHC 2005. Is there a fancy way we can say your name, my friend, so we can just call you something else? I don't know exactly, like, 2005.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know if we could say that in acronym and get
I'm not gonna make it into something that it's not. Oh, the Riff Tracks. Cool, very cool. Corey's in the house. Hey, brother. Hope you're doing well. Sent Corey some comic books, so hopefully he'll be happy with that. And continue to find another person that can enjoy the same medium that I do, that I love very much. So, yeah, great to see you hanging out with us tonight, my friend. Scott Westbrook, throwing down super sticker, $5. Thank you, Scott. Thank you for being such a big fan and supporter, man. You've been great, man. Hope you're doing all right, man. Hope you're doing all right. So,
hey,
and of course, Slasher Fred is here. Oh man, the knowledge base this guy, dude. I don't know why. Does he have a channel? Do you have a channel, Fred? Because if you don't have a channel, I don't know why you don't have a channel. Your knowledge and expertise is superior to mine on most of these details. So, this movie feels like a precursor to those new modern teen horror movies, even though we have characters in their 30s and 40s. Mostly characters in old movies were mostly in 30s and 40s. Yeah, I mean, it was they were Hitchcock fans, right? It's like this is literally the schlock era, Arwyn, where they would like have the what's it called, immersion factor? What's it called? Is Emergo? Is that what it's called? Where they like have like the prop that's on the thing that shoots out at the audience and.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like Smellorama, where they had the scent in the room and that kind of. Yeah. Those of you who think we're old, it does predate us. I don't think I have.
Yes, it does.
It's one of those things that if we ever experienced that, it would have been like a special thing for that reason. But this definitely is that sort of like more. It's definitely more Hitchcockian than I think people, and I may have misrepresented this to Mags when we were talking about this movie because I should have probably just said like it's basically just a Hitchcock movie. It's just a schlock version. So
it definitely falls more in the suspense, at least for today, in the suspense as opposed to horror, because horror as a genre has got so many, you've got your gore and then you've got your psychological, and then you've got your ghosty, and this kind of, it definitely fits that Hitchcockian suspense, almost film noir kind of. At
Yeah, I mean,
least,
really, it's
you
not
know.
even horror by most
No.
modern movie standards. Like, so, but I'm so glad you said that too, because I was just talking to Matt, who, a common idiot, did like one of those, like bracket horror movie bracket things,
Hmm.
and I'm like, dude, you can't. You have to create the subgenres and then let them play against each other, right? So it's like,
Hmm.
slasher films and like horror thriller films, and then like each one is its own like category. Like you shouldn't,
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like Halloween is the best of the slasher movies for me personally. I know there are tons of others, but that's the
Hmm.
one I enjoy. But I don't think it's a better movie than Alien, which I think is probably among the best of like the sci-fi horror movies. And then I don't think they're better
Yes.
than Jaws, which is probably the best of like the creature movies, even though Alien's kind of a creature movie, but it's a little bit different feel. Like so, yeah,
Agreed.
that's all.
Completely agreed. Yep.
This whole trail reference. Thank you so much for that. That is fantastic. I don't even know if that is your name, but I will gladly call you Tim because that's a brilliant reference.
There are those who call me Tim.
Tim.
I love it.
Mike, how you doing, brother? Great to see you, my friend. Great to see you. And
Hey.
yes, Scott, it's so good. Great to have you here, man. Great to we're also. So,
Yes.
what did I just read? Oh, so yeah. So, Mike, we will be scheduling. So again, you want to have a good time, Arwyn? Maybe you should come and do a
Oh,
voice with us. Mike and I are going to voice one of the cringiest concepts for a comic book in the history of comic books.
tell me what?
Whoopi Goldberg did a comic book called The Change, where the hero is literally going through menopause.
Oh my
So
god!
Mike and I are going to do a dramatic reading of The Change.
Yes, I want to be in all that.
Yeah.
Heck
All right.
yes.
So this like yesterday. I think it landed digitally yesterday. I know it's
Oh
been
my god.
available for purchase for weeks, but it finally arrived digitally, and Mike and I were like, oh, finally. So we will definitely be doing that in November for sure, 100%. So
Wait, is that her superpower?
I
Menopause?
didn't get that far into the story. I really, maybe Mike knows, but I really wanted to have sort of like a cold experience, like reading it. Like yeah.
Yes.
So,
Okay.
all right. Tonight's
That'll be
feeling.
fun. That'll
Yeah,
be
I know. I
fun.
know. Feel around. Yeah. Feel around. It's not, yeah, we'll, yeah, there, feel around. Yeah. The opening of the movie, Vincent breaks the fourth wall. If you ever saw the trailer, The Fly from 1958, also Vincent Price breaking. Yeah, he definitely talks to the
Hmm.
audience. Definitely, for sure.
Hmm.
WTF. I know. Prepare for the menopausey goodness.
Oh
I
my
don't know.
god. Dead.
So, all right. So with that, we will pull this up. And I have a treat for you guys. Arwyn and I were talking about it briefly. We'll get to more of those details at the end of the show. It's something that I'm going to be doing and working on. But I have a little video tease of some goodness that will take you guys back in the old time capsule. I know it does me.
Hmm.
So we will do that right now.
Yay.
Oh wait, did it play audio?
No audio.
No audio. Okay, let's do this again and see if we can get audio to play. Sometimes audio will work right away. Sometimes it does. It has a bad attitude. So we'll stop and do it again.
Do they even have Woolworths anymore?
I
Are
doubt
they
it.
still in business?
No, I don't think so. To share audio, tab. Okay. Wait, shouldn't tab screen. Yeah, I did. I'm doing it. So we'll see. Sorry, folks. Any audio?
I didn't hear any.
Mm-hmm.
Play it
I'm
again.
going to turn it all the way up. See.
All right.
Anything?
I'm hearing something, but I think it's coming through your speaker. I don't think it's coming from
All
it's
right.
like the stream.
So I picked this commercial because obviously this is what I grew up on, where these silly, cheesy plastic masks that have like a rubber band on the back. Like there's a Spider-Man. I literally had a Spider-Man one like that, and it would suck to your face. Like you would
I
only
remember
really wear
those.
these for a few minutes before the rubber band would even break.
It's true.
It's so great. So that's one. We'll do that one. We'll jump ahead a little bit. So this is another commercial. Give Easter seals and gift certificates.
Oh, that
I love
line is
that.
so
I love that.
cute.
So there's like a double entendre in this one. That's why I loved it. The kid shakes his head no. If you saw that, you see how he shook his head.
Mm-hmm.
It's sort of like, no, I want a Hershey's bar, but I'll take your freaking gift certificate. Yeah,
Oh
it's
my.
these feel good gifts from back in the day, right?
Yeah.
They give you like little gift certificates or whatever, and it's like, oh, as a kid, you're like, give me
No.
the candy, man, give me the candy.
Candy. Yeah, we were all about the candy.
But this is donut in. I think this is Eureka's, and the bottom one is Kmart. So that's why I kept.
Wait,
I
that's
don't think.
Farrell's. That's Farrell's. Is that
Oh, it's
Farrell's?
yes, Farrell's. Yeah. Farrell's.
I remember Farrell's. I loved Farrell's. That was the
Yeah,
place you went for birthdays was Farrell's
there you
in
go.
my neck of the woods. So yeah, I might be happy about the Farrell's coupon, but the rest I'd be like, just give me some chocolate.
Yeah, safe Halloween because we grew up in the era with all of the urban legends and the amount of needles and such that were in food that were really
Yes.
killing kids, and we all heard the legends without actually knowing anyone that it actually happened to. And I'm sure there are
Yeah.
cases. However, so
Didn't
we'll do
one of
one
the
more.
Halloween movies start that way with the mom and the kid are sitting in the hospital? It might have been the second one. They're sitting in the hospital, like the waiting room, and he had bitten to an apple that had a razor blade, and he had a razor blade stuck in his lips. I
Oh,
think the second one of the Halloweens, I'm pretty sure, one of the films started that way.
okay.
And that's what we grew up on. Don't ever
Yeah.
bite into an apple because it could have a razor blade.
Yeah, let your parents check everything. So
Mm-hmm.
I only kept this one because I totally grew up on like Pillsbury Doughboy and Pillsbury Doughboy commercials, and this one just struck a chord of like, oh yeah, I remember this such a big deal when we were kids, like making
Oh,
our own
look at
cookies, and
that.
yeah, it took me back. And then he does the hoo 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 thing when they at
Yeah.
the end. Yeah, there you go. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Yeah, just grew up on that. And then lastly, had to go to something else old school. Just the silly cheekiness of it all until you get near the end. It's actually a Kodak. Look at that.
Yes. Yes. The Kodak moment.
Yep, there you go. So I thought we'd go a little back a little bit. So, and this will tie into what I am going to announce a little bit later on. So there you go,
Yeah.
folks.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we go. Let's
Nice.
see. Scott saying hi to everybody. Uh, no, I'm not selling that comic book, Corey. I do not. We don't own it. We just happen to have a copy digitally to read. So there you go. Yes, it is Halloween that you're welcome for that horror. Yeah, I know.
And I
Oh yeah, the
mm-hmm.
yeah. I did not. We did not do a dramatic reading of that one. We did a dramatic reading. Mike and I did a dramatic reading, or at least part of a video. This is like in 2022, and it was like it was like this crazy trans type superhero group or something, and it kind of
Mm-hmm.
led down there. Anyway, all of that got flagged. It was like demonetized. It was completely insane. It was like, oh dear lord. So
Well,
yeah,
see,
who knows what will happen?
the Mother of Madness one is the stupidest idea because if you have any villain worth his salt, all he has to do is track her cycle, and then he could just kill her on the days that she's not having her cycle. So, dumbest idea ever. Amelia Clark, love you, girl, but no, don't think so. I'll pass.
They're just not always the smartest of people. That's for sure. So,
No, no. As a matter of fact, the first comic book roundtable I ever saw Loki's, they were talking about that, and I'm like, "What is this?"
oh yeah,
So
yeah.
just never know.
It was shockingly bad. So.
Yes.
So this film, okay, so let's just jump right into this. Is pretty early on, but there's a little bit. We're actually like a couple of minutes in. We're like a minute in.
Mhm.
The music and the way it opens with like the floating heads talking to you, the audience, before they kind of like narrate like who all the different characters are, and just kind of that typical storytelling of like the 50s. I always love going back to that approach. I know Arwyn, we talk a lot of old movies together, so we're kind of old souls in this. But what
Mhm.
do you feel about just how it would feel to do a movie with this sort of approach?
Oh, I love it, and I think it would simplify a lot of stuff. To be honest, because what I've noticed with Hollywood, and I guess that's with anything, is progress is great, and we need it. You know, as a growing society, you always need to have that organic growth, that learn from the past and move on. But I still think sometimes they just need to keep it simple. And one thing about the 50s and 60s particularly, they knew how to tell a story in a modern way to give you all the information you needed to where it didn't feel like an info dump, but where you still felt like, okay, I know who everybody is. Let's do this. And I think it's brilliant. I really do.
Slushy Fred's talking about just the idea of like the fun house or the haunted carnival. Everyone's going to have these booby traps. Not enough of that, Fred. I actually did the rewatch of this, and I thought about I actually came close to watching the remake. I've never seen the remake. No desire to watch the remake, but I came close, thinking I couldn't do it because I thought to myself, there's no chance they did what I would do, and that is if I remade this movie, I'd pretty much do the same thing, except that I would have more sort of like booby trap type stuff. Like it would feel less focused on the one character because they're obviously making the one girl crazy. I think you could do, because then basically the consequence of that, you end up with a couple characters that just don't really matter. So I think a little more booby traps, a little more focus on some of the other characters. I also don't think we could find anybody who could pull off these two characters. I can't think of anybody who could pull these off.
No, they've been immortalized with these two. They really have, and they've got such a great snarky chemistry together that the scene works. You get that they really hate each other, and there's some reason why they're still together, in which, of course, all that unfolds. But I agree. I agree completely. If you could make it a touch more sinister, then maybe, like you said, with the booby traps, maybe sinister's not a right word. Just, I don't know, just a little more scary for the other people in the house, not just Nora.
Because the one guy, he gets hit and injured, but it's off camera. Like we don't know what happened, right? So you could probably take the audience a little closer to what happened to make them more on edge, for instance. That would be an example. Now, I still don't want to spoil anything, but I'd want to take the audience a little closer to something happening. Just a shot of his face or something. There's something that would work. So,
although I think I know why they didn't. I actually think I know why they didn't. Because they were trying to drive Nora crazy, and if everybody else was experiencing something, it would make her story more plausible. So maybe that was an intentional choice by the director, not to do that with the other characters, like they did with her. So I don't know. Maybe.
Emery's asked, "Do pumpkins poop?" Well, I hope so, because that's what I consider pumpkin pie. And actually, Mrs. Pops, Arwyn, Mrs. Pops has made me the greatest thing. It is keto pumpkin pie. So it is keto pumpkin pie. Ooh. And she found, because the last one she did, it was just that type of fluff with like the whipped cream. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, it needs like the crust. We need to have some substance in there. Mm-hmm. And she found something. So it kind of like has like a texture like a cobbler, but it's like this keto dish. So it's like I get to have pumpkin pie. I've been eating this thing like every day. Having a little piece every single day now. It's so good.
Yeah, she's on to something good, because I love pumpkin pie is my favorite pie. And a keto version, guilt-free.
I know.
I'm all for that. All for that.
Said booby. Yep, I did, Tim. I did.
You did.
Speaking of booby traps, I know. I see what you did there. Okay. And this is like Miss Utah. She was like a Miss America candidate. So, just saying. I'm saying. Yeah. So, let's see. You were caught up. House of Wax, mostly a remake of the old 1930s Mystery of the Wax Museum. Oh, did not know that.
I didn't either.
I think I would have probably seen that in the trivia and went, didn't know that. And see, Slasher Fred, why don't you have a channel where you can just like show House of Wax or just do something and talk about that? Because, I mean, dude, I don't know these. Yeah, super good. You guys are amazing. I will say I love the fact that they discuss something that most movies won't do, especially in the 50s. Imagine how risque this was to discuss divorce and someone going through multiple wives and who's going to kill who. And this is very faux pas now, let alone then. I mean, we don't talk about things like this even now. We just don't. It's always very slutty or trampy. It's never like sinister, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. And they're sitting here having this conversation, and they're giving you kind of a peek behind the curtain inside the story.
Hmm.
of the party that, of course, none of the other people are really privy to, none of the other characters. And they do talk about these things, and she's just like, I want your money. And he's just like, I want you dead and come to my party. It's your party, darling. And she's like, but I don't want to come. And in between this conversation, you find a whole lot about them. So it's like, okay, they really don't like each other very much, do they? How could this go wrong?
Yeah,
How
and
could this go wrong?
the best part is it doesn't take away from the fact that there's all these other people and what their relevance may or may not be, or
Yeah, not at
you
all.
just don't really have anything going on that takes away. Just it's all happening, and for some reason we're just so immersed without, like I said, we don't really ever have a dismissive feeling of all these other characters that we're going to get to now. It's like, because in the end of the day, if you're doing a remake or you're doing a conversation about it, we really don't need, like, the older lady. What does she do? You know what I mean? And the drunk guy is sort of like our narration and our fear factor guy, sort of like constantly, being the town crier of ghosts and
But
the
wait,
haunting of the house.
But was it his brother or his uncle that lived in that house? One of his relatives lived there, so at least I get his angle. He's like, this place is haunted, and I'm going to prove it.
Yeah, and I think that, again, if I rewrote it, I would probably not have him drinking, but I would have him even more of a basket case. So one of the fun gags in, like, the Ghost of Mr. Chicken with Don Knotts or something like that, which is kind of a spin on the same kind of thing, right? That neuroses type character. I wouldn't want him to become comedic, but almost like neurotic. He's like, he might take pills one moment, he might take a drink, he would just be, I don't know, it just seems like, because there is a point in the film where you kind of feel like, oh, well, he's kind of like, he's just drinking. Like, we don't even know what to think about it. We just dismiss him. You don't know, you know what I mean? So,
exactly.
Tim says it was the brother that was
brother.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, spoilers, y'all.
Yeah. If you don't want spoiler, I mean, well, there's not. I mean, really, we're not going to spoil too much until you kind of get to the last half, and we'll warn you more. Definitely warn you more then. So we get to the latter half of the movie, we'll kind of get into the actual twists and spoilers, that kind of thing. So,
and that one's not technically a spoiler because he says it at the very, very beginning of the film.
Yeah, it's not really a spoiler at all. It's explaining the backstory of the movie. Like, he's trying to explain why it's haunted and what's really going on, and you know what I mean. Like, there's ghosts and there's severed heads that are missing, and there's all everyone's going to get paid $10,000 to stay, but they have to stay. They're going to technically get locked in, so they have a certain point at midnight that they have to kind of opt out before then. So things start to go a little crazy early on with some of the ghost stuff and things like that. But and they get to tour. Like, okay, let me ask Arwyn. We'll get there in a minute. I guess I should wait till we get there. But he walks in, he's giving them drinks, and then basically there's their first element of the tour is like the blood stain on the ceiling, which starts to drip on her.
Yes, ew.
And it's so odd because it works in black and white.
And she's so calm about it too. I would be like, "What's on my hand, y'all? What's on my hand?"
Think about when we were kids, though, how less blood phobic we were, like, because of diseases and our knowledge of science now.
Good point.
We're so paranoid of germs and stuff. Like, I mean, like a bathroom toilet now compared to when we were kids. Like, I mean, yeah.
It's amazing how any of us survived intact.
I think it just shows how much of this is probably just hysterics and that we really are not at risk. I mean, literally, obviously, folks, if you don't know the science, again, I can say these things because I actually am a biologist. Another inside reference. There are worse germs in your kitchen than your bathroom. So just so you know that it's more likely if we did a culture swab on your kitchen, we're going to find more salmonella and stuff like that than you would in your bathroom. That's shocking for people to want to believe, but unless you're properly bleaching and cleaning, yeah. So I think that's really the truth of the matter is we could all drink from a hose and we could probably have, different issues, things that happen, and that they don't kill us. But I'm with you. She's like completely dismissive, like, oh, okay, that's a thing that happens. And she just kind of walks on.
She does.
And then they go to this room and it's the craziest scene where we're letting it play. I just don't care. There's a vat of acid in the basement. Like,
it is.
Look at her face. Like, what is, so if we had to caption this, I don't know what Riff Tracks did. So I'd be like, I gotta get me one of these vats of acid for my basement. Darling, why is there a vat of acid in this? I don't want to stay at a hotel with a vat of acid. It's like Airbnb is going to get a poor rating, Arwyn.
I mean, and that is something I always thought. I'm like, look, I'm up for, a spooky scientist basement is the next person. But a vat of acid is probably not the brainiest idea, just saying. Probably not, but they're all like, and I know I should not, I sure wouldn't be standing by it like, wow, look at that. A vat. No, my tuchus would be across the room being like, y'all just, matter of fact, I'm going to leave the room. Y'all close the door. No
Yeah,
acid.
I have to be honest. If the acid in the room can burn off flesh this fast, that you literally are in an area where if it splashes on your clothes, it's gonna burn a hole in your clothes. Like it's literally like some sort of concentrated hydrochloric or hypochloric acid or something like that. It's like so concentrated. Like if it were to splash on you,
Right.
you know what I mean? It's just that's crazy. So it's done for fun. I mean, it's a movie. Get it? So
Yeah. Yeah.
this is an interesting comment, Tim. Thank you for that, because sometimes even when I'm doing an older movie, when I touch on the key plot twists or something, I will even talk about spoiler warnings. Like I'll at least let people know. Like if you're watching this for fun with us, because we're hanging out and hanging out with us,
Yeah.
I'll try not to ruin the movie for you, and I don't think I have so far. But if I were talking about a Hitchcock movie, and I get to the key moment where some big reveal is going to happen, even in a general review, I pretty much usually let people know.
Yeah.
There are some movies, because I have a review coming up of Happy Death Day, and I don't even know if I put this in the video, but I probably should have done that. I don't even know how you can talk about the movie without spoiling it, because the whole premise is so simple. It's all about the whodunits. It's such a very simple, yeah. Early movies, especially in the early century, movie makers had to follow that Hays Code, where certain things that could not be shown on screen. Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. That was why Hitchcock was such a groundbreaker, because he was just like, oh, we're going to break all these rules. 100%.
I would be interested to know what, like, if they came up with, like, if they butted head with the censors of the day.
Hitchcock did.
Well, I wonder if this movie did. I wonder if they had some things planned, or if some of the things they did, they had to convince them, hey, this is going to work. It's going to work. You got to trust us. I don't know.
Okay, so this is not set up. She's asking this question legitimately, right, Arwyn? You have not. We have not.
Oh, no, we haven't even discussed it. No,
okay,
not at all.
So 100%. If you haven't seen the poster for this, which I don't have pulled up handy, but there's like a hanging lady and stuff on the poster. Mm-hmm. That created problems. So I won't say a ton of that, but the theatrical trailer and the advertising material, because of the hanging lady and stuff. Again, this is not so far off for some of like the comic book Red Scare type stuff, where comic books were gruesome and horror stuff was pushed back and all that. So all of that stuff was definitely cutting edge. So what they did to spin this was to say it is so intense and so scary, we can't show you this. They kind of spun it into that, oh my gosh, it's so intense, we can't even show you everything. Like, you know what I mean? So it made the movie a bigger success. So the censors doing what they did actually helped the movie.
Wow, good. Yeah. That's stuff I think about. I'm glad you do that, because that's interesting.
I looked that up because I was like, because I wanted to know. There's no way 1959 this easily went through. Like, I get it.
Right.
The year after Hitchcock comes out with Psycho, and the famous shower scene, of course, and they literally stopped the film. He made them stop the film because the censors were freaking out over, I saw her boob, I saw her derriere area, and he's like, no, you didn't. That's just in your dirt. That's just in your dirty little mind. And he was so rude to them because he's Hitchcock, right? Because we all have heard the stories, right? He's Hitchcock. Mm-hmm. They play it again. He's like, no, we saw her. No, your dirty little mind. And he knew them by name. He was just like denigrating them in front of other censors. So that's just how Hitchcock rolls. So it took people like him to kind of break these barriers. And yes, he's a weird dude. I think there's a fair element of criticism there. His obsession with his blondes and Tippi Hedren in particular.
Oh, I know, right?
but
he was a creative genius. Creative genius.
We do get
so. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd all be in trouble if we did the things we did as a kid. I don't know, man. I think we're better for it, man. I think we're better for it. Oh man, hey brother, how you been? Hope you're doing all right. Yeah, definitely doing better after all the storms and stuff. And someday I'll get into more of the details of what happened after the storm. So, yeah, we condemned the house for the vat of acid in the basement. Yeah, I know you have to keep that on the down low for sure. So, and especially from a dude that's missing 3 wives. Like, this is a dude that had 2 wives that just, had like an early heart problem or something allegedly. You're like, sure,
Right.
So, yeah. And great practical effect. Yeah, I will get to those for sure. Okay, so let's just jump in. So first off, the vat of acid would have been like a whole. I'm probably not staying in the house with the vat of acid. So I mean, It is $100,000 by our standards, roughly $100,000 to $120,000. Basically, I looked that up too. And I'm kind of torn because I'm thinking to myself, okay, they're ghost stories. Could there be a killer in the house? There's a vat of acid. All I got to do is get through 8 to 10 hours. So I would probably be the most boring character in the movie, locking myself in my room or something, trying to figure out. All I know is when 8 a.m. comes, I can go to Mrs. Pops and go, well, this much of our mortgage is paid off. Or what? I mean, it's literally like, so I'm like the most boring human when it comes to putting myself in these scenarios. How about you?
Same way. I'd be bringing a book.
Yeah.
And I'd be saying, okay, y'all have fun with your drinks and your acid and your, all of your things. I'm going to bed. And I would lock myself in, make sure windows were closed, check closets, check under the bed. And I would probably just wait until 8 o'clock in the morning. And
and if I'm seeing ghosts in one room, I just move to a different room where I didn't see ghosts and just keep locking the doors until I'm in a bathroom or a shower somewhere where I don't see ghosts. And
right.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there could be a fun version of Pops in this movie where this kind of stuff keeps happening, but that would be, so.
Yeah.
Yes, the Great Mouse Detective. Mrs. Pops loves that. I'm really kind of on a hiatus from doing a lot of Disney content right now, Fred. But if I had to go back, I think right now there could be some love for some of that vintage stuff, for sure.
So. Oh, he was even on the Brady Bunch for the Hawaiian episodes. He was the guy in the cave. He's been in everything.
Oh,
so good.
So my biggest regret, I think Arwyn, you and I talked about the Edward Scissorhands experience, right? We did our Johnny Depp show. That there was no, obviously Vincent Price didn't come to Florida, right? He thought all of that was in California on a soundstage. So when I saw the movie, of course, I was like, oh my gosh, I would have. I could almost just have all the cliches of what can I give up, a tip of a finger to get to have met Vincent Price. I mean, I cannot even imagine meeting that caliber of person. I really can't. So
no kidding. I'm with you. He's amazing.
Tim was right there with us, Arwyn. We're locked in the closet in the bathroom together, all just like, we're just gonna
there you
999 ghosts in the wall, 999 ghosts.
We only got 8 more hours, boys.
There's only 998 ghosts to go.
Yes, that would be us. And no shame in that either, y'all. No shame.
No, and we'll be out looking for booby traps just so we can keep saying booby. I get it, Tim. I get it. Oh, yes, I know. Scooby-Doo. Yes, Scooby-Doo. Ghost of Scooby. I got to do more Scooby-Doo content, Brad. Thank you for that. I need to do more Scooby-Doos. We're definitely going to do one next year.
Yeah.
Definitely do a talk hard on Scooby-Doo.
Nice.
So, yeah, just a little flirtatious and the unnervy elements of just making her crazy. And this was so brilliantly set up.
Yes.
So even on the rewatch, I have seen this maybe a dozen times. I know the story. And I don't know why. I just always am still just creeped out by this lady. I feel like she may just represent an inner fear that I haven't faced yet. How I feel,
She got me. There is one part in this film where that old lady got me. Even with the Riff Tracks version, I wasn't expecting it. She was just there, and I'm like, my goodness, she's got a terrifying looking. So yes.
She literally looks like a demonic version of the grandma from Addams Family to me. Like she's just.
She does.
Yeah,
Mama.
We'll get to that shot
like
later.
Mama.
Yeah, yes. She does. Then this is the strike on the head thing we talked about earlier. We literally look to the psychologist to bandage him up. No one else can. Yeah, whatever. No. It's a silliness. and then just more. And I love the shots. It's just so simple.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Just shadows.
Black and white does it for this film, absolutely. In color, it would not affect me the same way. It's a total mood with the black and white. I mean, I know that's how they did the films back then, but I'm just saying if they ever wanted to, I don't know, maybe they have colorized. They probably have. They've colorized just about everything, but it would not
I
have the
wouldn't.
appeal to
I
me like the black and
yeah.
white.
In fact, I would go back. I don't know if I want to remake a movie like this. I think it just needs to stand. But you do something that's in the same vein of something like this, you know, or
Mm-hmm.
House on Haunted Hill too. Like you have a sequel that's actually a sequel to this, with another Vincent Price character that bought the house and similar story, whatever. But I don't know. I think you could. God rest his soul. There's not another James Earl Jones, but you find that sort of voice, that sort of gravitas or something. I don't know who it is. I can't. Help me, guys in chat. Like, who is the person in today's world that could pull off a Vincent Price? I don't know. I don't have anything totally in mind right now.
No, me
Um,
neither. I'd have to think about
and
that.
the irony is, there's really not other big names. It seems like it's very simple, but I don't know. I think you could sell the American people on a black and white. You could sell people on something different, something interesting, and you could try it. I think you could do it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, anyway, we just basically cut back and repeat and extend the scene from earlier and just get more information, and we get to see his darker side where he grabs her hair. Really,
Yes.
really shocking. Just kind of very abrupt and abusive. So I like that. It catches you off guard a little bit.
Yeah, it does.
Uh,
It
More
does.
check-ins, and then the first like, what in the name of Sam Hill is happening right now? And dude, it's a freaky looking dude. And then they kind of cut, and you get to see all of them, right? Oh, this one she runs in. Okay, that's not actually where you see them. You can
Oh, and
play
that
all that. Why am I
dress. That dress is
just
gorgeous.
such a beautiful ladies?
Mm-hmm.
All right, they closed the thing. It's too soon. Let's go back just a shade. Is this where they go behind the curtain? I keep not wanting to play it, but then I'm like, wait, it is in public domain. That's kind of the whole point. Yeah, he
Nora
grabs
really
her.
skulks around a lot for being so scared, though. I'm like, girl, just stay in one place.
Yeah, stay
She's
with somebody. Get a buddy system going on, like the movie Clue. Come on, guys.
yes, exactly.
By the way, isn't it pretty risky for 1950s to not have to have her shoulders exposed?
Not by that point. I think by that
Yeah.
point,
Look at that. She's a creepy. That's a creepy looking broad.
ugh.
Holy cow, that's a mess. I don't care if she's supposed to be blind or not. That is freaking India bot. And look at the imagery here with all their little coffin gifts right lined up in front of the two of them.
Oh, the
That
ones
is
with all the
mess.
guns?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Some party favor. Coffin, guns in a coffin.
That's
Yay.
freaking great. If I had been more inspired by that, if I'd had a Halloween party, which we did, I would have done that. It would have been great. Little plastic coffins with like a little toy gun inside
Little
or
toy
something. So,
gun.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and there's all sorts of gun contradictions, guys. Don't even get me started. My brain just on the rewatch today. I don't know. Penny's in the house. Hey, lady.
Hey, Penny.
Great to see you.
Hey.
So, okay. Precursor to like that Friday the 13th concept, isolated place. They all get knocked off one by one. Yeah, a little bit. Wish I
Okay.
would have had. So the irony is, Fred, I actually watched Friday the 13th today. I really don't like the Friday the 13th movies. I'm still trying to give it some love. So I'm on to number 2 today. I started it, but I didn't get through it. But I've always been a Halloween fan and a Freddy fan. I just don't really get Friday the 13th much, but I'm trying. And I think it's again, but yeah, any gun person would be like losing your mind right now. The way they handle their guns in these scenes, this is loaded, and they just start waving them around. Look, there's people standing right there. Look, just
I
waving the
know.
gun around like here. And then there's the scene later where the one person actually cocks the gun properly, and you're like, hey, this here, hold your gun. It's loaded, by the way. They're all loaded. It's like, here, oh, look at this lady. It's like she's literally almost looks inside of it, waving it around in his face. Just the gun scene, just makes me so stressed. And this guy's just constantly putting it in and out of his coat pocket. Like, just he's going to shoot himself. So
Yeah, that was a really good idea to have guns there, I must say.
I think it's hysterical.
uh,
So all right. Oh yeah, then we have to go just a tad to the yell, which she things happen so fast in this movie too, because it's just
they
not a very
do.
long. It's just not a very long movie.
They do. And it all seems to happen to Nora, as we
Right, and it's
know.
kind of odd that she chooses this sort of like young employee to be the person that's going to be the target for this event. Like it doesn't. They don't really go further into it, really.
Mm-mm. No, and I've often wondered, okay, why why her is there like stuff in the character's backstory we don't know about that they just didn't display? Is it because of the the young and impressionable kind of trope? I mean, I don't know, but they chose
Yeah,
her, and
because the only thing we get is that she needed it the most because her whole family is relying on her, right?
mm-hmm,
Because financially, she's the only one, basically. Like she's so.
yeah,
Richard Long, big crush. Ah, Richard Long, huh? All right. So the Lance Schroeder
okay,
character. Okay. All right. Well, he's kind of a hot guy. I get it, Penny. Yeah,
yeah,
we get it.
he's dishy. There's
He's
no
a, he's
denying
he's a good
that.
looking fella for sure. Then we get a cool shot. I wanted to just touch on briefly. Where did he go? Oh, we lost a shot. I lost a shot of the house. Let me go back. Hang on. There it is. Missed it again. It'll come up. Yeah, Frank Lloyd Wright, famous architect stuff, right? So, just a famous house. It's been in a million movies. Um, this
Look
type of
at it, it's
architecture with all of the blocks and
huge.
stuff. This massive thing. So,
It looks like a
um,
fortress.
yeah, I mean, it kind of is a fortress, but
It's-
the Ennis house is famous. It's been in a ton of different movies. Blade Runner is probably one of the most iconic couple shots and stuff from that. But yeah, this is one of those things where back in the day, you have all these constant uh, sets or different areas that they can film in, and yeah, so not
and
quite as interesting story as we had with Some Like It Hot, but still kind of cool.
well, and the house is the lead character. If you think about it, it is the house
Oh,
on
it's in the
Haunted Hill.
title. Yeah, yeah,
So
there you go.
it's got to be stunning, or got to be impressive, or something. It's got to be eye catching.
There you go, Penny. All right, here's the head. And we didn't see him in the movie, though, but
It's so
ugh,
gross.
he just
Even
was running
now, it's
around with it. Yeah.
I know.
So I mean, I guess again, I'm not watching the Rift Tracks version, but I'm literally like, okay, yeah, I got it. So
It still grossed me out. I was still like, look, I know it's a fake head, but ew, it's not
it's
supposed to be
very
fake.
unnerving, isn't it? Yeah.
It is unnerving. The stare and, like you said, the way he just kind of carrying it around. Like, here we go. Oh, I can't.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would have thrown
Then
that thing in a
we got
pillowcase.
screaming and shenanigans, and we have our death. Now, at this point, you're kind of like, wait, what's our hanging person? And we really think that it's Nora. Like everything at this point in the story is pointing to Nora losing her mind. It's all about her.
Hmm.
And Vincent comes in. He's all emotional, and come to find out it's not. It's actually Annabelle laying there, and like it's like a major plot twist for us. Like what's going on? So I loved it. I think it's great, and this is kind of where the movie starts to steer a little different because you're like, okay, so Vincent Price is really the villain, and there's something going on here, and
Hmm.
is who's he in cahoots with? What's going on? Why is it going on? No, I
Hmm.
like it. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. And they just kind of pair off into like losing your mind craziness, and this guy's just yeah,
Yeah, he's off the chain at this point.
yeah, he's drinking a lot, and Vincent Price is literally coming across as sort of like shocked by the death. So you're really kind of just on your heels a little bit of actually what's going on. And this is where the movies, I just can't see them being able to pull this off with modern movies. They just don't do nuance well at all anymore, do they?
They don't, and they tend. I think. Look, I love CGI as much as the next person and AI and all that when it comes to film, but that is what drives a lot of the films today. Not like you said. I mean, can you imagine just having some like a producer saying, "All right, we have the story. You got 5 characters. They're in a house. Something spooky happens. Go create that for me. They can't go outside. They can't. They have to stay in the house." They'd probably be like, "Well, what are we supposed to do with this? What do we do?" Absolutely, subtlety is lost. And these films did have that. And it engrossed you. And they never go outside the house. They never go anywhere. They never do anything. All of the activity is between each other and the kind of suspense and the what's going on. And again, you got the house as a character in itself. It's actually brilliant storytelling, but it's also the building blocks of storytelling. If you don't have that, I don't care how flashy your movie is, you've just lost it. You've lost something. And this movie had it. Even with riff tracks, this movie had it. That's why I love it. And I'll watch it without riff tracks. I've watched it so many times because it's just so good.
Yeah, I really couldn't agree more. And I think for me, they would have this couple would be having an actual makeout scene. They would rush to some sort of sex or nudity or something inappropriate.
Mm-hmm.
They would have, and then they would have, and they never do this. They never do like the drunk guy's the crazy guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's like a loon. Like you don't really know how, because the premise of the movie is he really is truly believing there's ghosts, whatever happened with his brother, the decapitated people. It's his way of dealing with whatever that trauma is. It's his way of justifying all of that because the reality is so much more dark, so much more heinous and evil. So people can't look at that. Sometimes they'll turn to alcohol or drugs or whatever.
Yeah.
But in modern cinema, he'll just be a drunkard or obnoxious person, but not like the crazed person that's also drinking. So, yeah, I just don't think they can do these nuanced characters justice.
No, me either.
And these sets, the amount of set design, the beauty. The other thing that works in this film that doesn't work for modern movies is the fact that men wear suits and stuff, right? So there's such a charisma and a class that comes through in this movie that characters just don't do anymore, right? I know it sounds almost brutish, but a lot of ways I kind of wish we'd go back to suits. Sorry, guys. A lot of you don't want to wear ties either. I don't really want to wear a tie every day, but it seems like there's going to be a lot more tie wearing and jacket wearing in my world. But
yeah, I think people cared a little bit more about what they dressed like back then. I mean, for better or for worse, that's opinion. But yeah, they really did dress like this.
Well, I think it's because it's supposed to represent.
But they really did. The business.
Supposed to represent dignity, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Supposed to be more dignified, right? In class, and I don't mean class like, oh, I'm wealthy or what. I mean just being classy, like taking care of yourself. That's why the drunk guy is allowed to kind of like be throttled a little bit because it's like it's not supposed to behave like that.
Right.
What are you doing, dude? Then this classic shot of Vincent, man. He is
so good.
Everyone's loony. Everyone's losing it, like not going on.
Look at that chair.
Look at everything. They have real stuff going on everywhere. This beautiful set. It's just incredible.
Now, was this a set or was this the interior of an actual home?
I would be shocked. Let's see. Exterior is the house. The inner shot. Bulk of the film are sound stages. Depicting the interior of the house, including the 1890s Victorian, the gas chandeliers and sconces. See, that's all soundstage.
Okay. Well, they dressed it perfectly because it looks like an old, not necessarily, belonging to the home where we saw the exterior, but it looks like somebody's home because they've just did it so well.
Yep. I don't know of any of these people to know, like with Hitchcock, obviously he had these massive contracts. He was making so much money, but he loved soundstage work. He was not going to go on location. That's why, like we talk about, like Rear Window and all the crazy elaborate set that they had built and stuff like that. He did not like the lack of control of filming on location. No.
Really?
Oh, Yeah, because there's a lot more work, right? There's like ambient sounds. Again, we're talking about the 50s or 60s, right? So you're talking about, it's
True.
not like they shut down streets easily like we do now.
True.
I, I
True.
still, I don't live in that kind of world, but I know what I've been on sets and stuff like that. I mean, it's a massive inconvenience for everyone around it.
True.
So, I mean, no offense to the
Yes.
people that live in those areas, but so yeah, just a dramatic discussion and debate. Definitely all this sort of stuff that just continue to build and build and build. And the concept is everyone's just going to go to their room and wait it out, and then whoever kind of like breaks the order will be the one that did it. Doctor's taking
Mm-hmm.
notes. Everyone's kind of like systematically breaking their own code, and these two are like one of the first ones. Like, if they haven't been caught up with enough craziness already, they're both like, "I'm going to go for help, and I'll come back and get you." Yeah, that sounds fine with me. Leave me alone again. It's like, what on earth? So again, I get the riff tracks because I could riff tracks it too, but I will
Oh
say
yeah.
I enjoy the ride. But there was a lot of stupidity of all of this that's going on. And then she's like having this weird stop motion rope that comes in, and then you see her,
Ta-da.
which is a beautiful effect.
Oh, absolutely beautiful effect. I agree.
Ah,
Look at
just
that.
incredible. But I was watching it again today and thought to myself, why is the rope leaving and not pulling on her again? It was such a weird, because at this point in the movie, you don't understand why the ghosts are not killing people. Like the ghosts are supposed to be these evil things, and I guess in my brain, I was trying to give the film benefit of the doubt that I'm watching this for the first time, especially back then. I'm assuming someone's pulling the strings to make people crazy, and therefore they're going to be the ones that hurt themselves. So all the legacy of the ghosts and decapitations, murder, whatever, is because
Mm-hmm.
people are do something crazy, and you know what I mean. That's what we're doing. We're going to drive her and other people to do irrational things, and someone's
Yes.
going to get decapitated, or you know, almost kind of like a Scooby Doo episode where the suit of armor's axe falls on somebody, or in this case,
Right.
it's what? And then you have this crazy
Uh-oh.
hand that comes out of nowhere, and you're like, wait, I thought that guy left the house. Where'd that come from?
I
You
mean,
just
poor
leave.
Nora. She's just like from minute one.
Yeah,
She gets no
yeah.
break.
There's the famous shot, and then the hand out of nowhere, and you're like, what is the hand? Why is there a Swamp Thing's hand? Like I don't. It was so again trying to be, you get it. So
Yeah. All these
AK
iconic
is in the
shots.
house. Hey, brother, you shouldn't call me that. I didn't. Uh, can we get more viewers? I don't know, man. Viewers come and go. We've had more people in, less people in. Numbers go up, numbers go down. It's okay. It's here. We're here. We're here, and you can kind of hang out for a while. You can come and go. You watch it after the fact. Thank you. So, yeah, cool. Um, yeah, let's see. There was a Scooby Doo episode called Night of Fright Delight, with the characters challenged to spend the night in a haunted house. Indeed, they were. Yes, very much a spin on this for sure. So, yes, AK, definitely way better. Thanks for keeping your finger on what's going on. Yeah, post hurricane, post chaos at the farm, that kind of thing. So, yeah, awesome. Thanks for keeping an eye on me. Appreciate it. So, yeah, things get crazy, and then you have sort of like, why are you out of your room? Why are you out of your room? Why are you out of your room? Like, why do they all split up at this point? Like, first off, stop pointing your gun at me. The Frank's thing loaded. Dude, like, stop. It's like you're so
It's a
yeah.
wild night for sure.
Okay, you point your loaded gun at me. I'll point my loaded gun at you. Like it's literally just, oh, don't point your loaded gun at me. I'm gonna go this way with my loaded gun.
I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna look over here. What's going on over here? I'm gonna take
Yeah.
my loaded gun with me. Here, you bring yours too. It's like,
All right.
well,
Now we get to like the big spoiler moment. So if you really have not seen or don't want a major spoiler or twist on how things are going to change, this is the point where, just letting you know so you can say I did it. So this is the big twist of the story.
mm-hmm.
Is that this is very Hitchcockian, right? Very Hitchcock and not necessarily horror. Is, hey, guess what? She's not dead, and they're in cahoots.
And I genuinely did not expect this the first time I saw it. I was surprised. I'm like, oh, they're the ones behind this. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Where's this going? I mean, I was really like, this is neat. This is new. So it
And
works.
I
It's very
actually
effective.
have to be honest, I put myself in the brain of like 1950s, right? So I'm like, okay, wait a minute. So what if the other guy, the hot guy that Penny likes, he's also in cahoots with her because she's banging everybody. Like, okay. So I'm
Oh.
like, okay, all right, I can see that. So I mean, I think 1950s brain would
hmm
be, this is such an unorthodox thing to talk about divorce and affairs and so all this stuff and murdering each other is so unorthodox. It
Yeah.
would easily for me to go, how extreme could I get, right?
hmm
So that was my brain. That was my brain. All right. So yeah, I liked it. I liked the twist.
Oh, I did
Uh,
too. I loved it.
and then poor Nora. So Nora would follow the actual rules. And when somebody comes in on your whatever, you actually use your gun and actually, oh, it was Vincent Price. He really is the bad guy. And she shoots him. That's when Vincent Price got shot. And they're in the vat room. So he
Oh
comes
my.
in. He's got the gun, puts it in his pocket. By the way, dear Lord, shoot your leg off. Gonna drag him over to the vat and hide the evidence. It all worked out exactly like they planned. So that's what's going to go on here. And then the lights go out.
Oops.
Oh no, that can't be good, can it, folks? It's never
What
good when the
could
lights
go
go out.
wrong?
What could go wrong with the lights being out?
Spoiled.
Uh-oh. So yeah, lights go out. The lights come back on. It's not what you think. She's there
She's
thinking,
back.
yeah, yeah. It's everybody's looking around, what's going on, and then this happens. So I will say, and I rewatched it today, I was definitely a lot more critical of this shot because of the hole in the top of the skeleton's head. So I will say, again, 1950s, a lot of fun. So yeah.
They kind of missed that. You know what? If that was done today, that would be covered up in, as they, they
Well,
would
it's also
just
CGI
CGI it
stuff.
over.
Yeah, it was just, because it is really, really cheesy and it does not age well. But for
But
its
I
time, this
love
is
it. I love
super
it.
creepy.
It
It is super
is.
creepy.
And it's
And then,
like,
of course,
okay.
this is the famous shot of what they actually would do with what is called, I looked it up. I had the other screen. Let me pull that screen back up again. I had it pulled up. Emergo. I had it pulled up. So it was his sort of thing to do that. Emergo. So immerse yourself in it kind of experience. And the
Oh,
exhibitors,
okay.
they had this
Yeah.
rigged pulley system and it was near the screen and it had this plastic skeleton that would fly out over the audience during the corresponding scene. So
Oh,
could
wow.
you imagine how that would wig you out? And evidently there's a famous story of the Aerosmith Steven Tyler seeing this movie as a kid, and that
hmm
actually happened, spoke about the skeleton, scared the bejesus out of all of us, and we had a good laugh. So that the film's legacy, yeah, that kind of thing. So
hmm
cool. I
And
liked
if
it.
that
That's
you
great.
really did see that, I mean, okay, put yourself in the character shoes for a moment. If she really did see it, that would be freaky. So suspend your disbelief, people. It's a skeleton, and we love it.
I love that it just kind of keeps turning and going. Like
I know.
she
She
can't
can't get
see
away
why
from
it's turning and going. So then it's going to put his hand on her. What? Don't touch my shoulder. Oh my God.
it.
Stranger danger. Stranger danger. I
But
had the right to
okay.
say no. Go
And
ahead.
he's after her now. He's chasing her
I'm
really
going to come
slowly.
after you with my bones. Ha ha ha. You know what I mean.
She's got a great scream. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Wait. Don't fall. I didn't mean for you to fall into bad taste. Don't step backward. Stop screaming, lady. I'm just trying to help. No, don't fall.
Push!
Oh, no. That stain will never come out.
But it's awful because you know what's happening to her.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Melting. I'm melting. Yes, indeed. Indeed.
I love that
So, and then he comes
scene.
out with this crazy freaking rope. Like, what is happening? Um, look, guys, I get it. It's a very classic. I totally get
It
it, folks,
is.
and I hopefully you guys can understand that this is one of these movies where I can both laugh and appreciate. And this is exactly how I love this movie. I love this experience. I also can acknowledge, oh, come on, seriously, how would you not see the ropes? How would you not see the marionette elements of? Okay, no, you just go along with it, man. You just go along with it.
Agreed. We could
Um,
still be, oh my goodness, spooky, and yet this is so much fun at the
it's
same
freaking,
time. And it is fun. This is a fun, great movie. I love this movie.
yeah.
And they all come down.
And
Just
he just
close.
lets the strings and stuff just go right in all the evidence, baby. Just throw that evidence right in. You know, it's
He's
a
like, it
class
is
act
what it
right
is,
there. He's like,
people.
oh, hey, everybody. Yeah, everybody melted. Um, blah, 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 blah. Good luck pinning it on me. Oh, crap. I think he just melted Annabelle. We can't prove it.
Because there's nothing left.
Oh, it's so good. He's like, wait, there's no ghosts? Well,
And Nora just looks so annoyed.
Yep. And they just talk to
There
the
it
camera, and that's
is.
it.
Love it.
So, I'll just zoom in on the face. Turn that volume a second. Here we go. You can't hear the audio, right?
No.
I'm not sharing audio for some reason. Now there's 9. There'll be more, many more. Oh, they're gonna come for me. They'll be coming for you.
And the closing of the door.
There
Oh,
you go.
it's such a final ending, and I love it. Even though it's kind of, well, does he get arrested? What's going on? It doesn't matter. The door's closed. Story's over. Go home. Make up your own ending. But this is all we're going to tell you, and I love it.
I'm with you. Snorty! Snorty's
Hey,
in the house.
Snorty!
Snorty Poopus. Hope you're doing well, brother. So, yeah, no, so do you watch this one? So obviously this is a spooky time of season. I know you love spooky time of season. This is a woman that literally has a scream mask on her Christmas tree. So I know she loves spooky season.
Yep.
So is this like a regular one for you, or every other year? What kind of rotation do you think you kind of have it on?
Oh, this one's a standard for this time of year, but also like in the summer when it's a rainy day and it's
Mm-hmm.
really overcast and you want something spooky, but you don't want to be spooked. You just want something, you know, like this. To me, it's one of the best popcorn movies you could find. I love it. And yeah, this is definitely a staple because I prefer, I mean, I can handle some gore, I can handle some slasher movies, but my niche, my staple is stuff like this. I
Psychological
just,
thriller type stuff.
yeah, yeah. Or anything ghosty with ghosts in it, ghost stories.
Okay.
Love it. So
Okay.
yeah, this is one of them. And like I said, Vincent Price, you cannot go wrong. Shoot, throw up the Thriller video by Michael Jackson. It's got Vincent Price in it, at least his
Oh
voice.
yeah.
You know, you can't go wrong with anything Vincent Price, is my point.
Oh, that's so true, man. The thriller video, that narrative
Ugh.
is just
It makes it,
yeah.
it elevates it. Without that narration of his, it would not be the same. It would still be a great video, but that like cements it as, oh my gosh, Vincent Price was in this and he lent his voice to this and his talent. Woo! This is so yeah, it elevates it completely because it's
Hmm.
Vincent Price. We love him.
Yeah, I think some of them are you guys old enough to remember the Vincent Price thing and the whole thriller and just it was such a big deal, man. That thing was just
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's freaking great, man. I don't even know how to put it into words how much fun that was.
Yeah.
Because it was
And
just
I mean, that music video too did, just on a side note, it did kind of change the entire direction of the way artists took music videos because it wasn't just him singing with dancers. I mean, you did have a great actor involved. You had choreography, you had element, you had story, you had all of that. And he was a part of that. And I don't think people realize the stamp that Vincent Price has put on the entertainment industry and all the things that he's been involved with. Not just they were good, but some of them really were groundbreaking for the time. And they led other artists to say, well, can we do that? You know, can we're just standing in front of a mic for our MTV music video and look at Michael Jackson and Vincent Price go. So he has such a mammoth, not repertoire. What am I looking? Resume.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's just, to me, it's not Halloween with some sort of Vincent Price film. That one, is it the House of Wax that he was in?
House of Wax
too?
would be one. The Fly would be one. They're just
House of Wax is scary. I love that one.
yeah, that's a
But
good one.
yeah.
You know what it was for me is I'll never forget those first that in the Thriller thing. Go back to Thriller,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's because there's also something we've talked about briefly with some of these movies. The vocabulary that they use, the language, the use of the English language is so mature and
Yes.
grown up.
Yes.
And in the Thriller music video, it's the phallus stenches in the air, the funk of 40,000 years, and grisly ghouls from every tune are closing in to seal your doom. Like, yeah, that's freaking like English literature. Like, oh my gosh, this is so much fun. You know what I mean?
Brilliant.
Yeah, so good.
And
Your
then that
body starts to
classic.
shiver. For
Mm,
no mere mortal can resist the evil of the Thriller. Yes.
yes.
Yeah. Awesome. So good. Hopefully you guys had a good time. So,
And of
this
course,
one in
his
13
iconic
goes.
laugh.
Yes, indeed. Very good. Very good. So yeah, I am going to try to get this done in time for Saturday. We'll see how this goes. This movie is in public domain. So I will do a little creature feature thing on Saturday. We'll try it out for a Hollow Popsween. Thank you, Chris Bergia, for my
Yay.
inaugural effort at House on Haunted Hill. Do a little creature feature type thing with some Halloween commercials and some more fun. So I will do that on Saturday in lieu of an actual video because I do not have them done. So
All
yeah,
right.
we'll see where things go. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more of this. I'd also say that for me, this is one of those like you were saying, like not necessarily a rainy day for me, but there's just a mood sometimes to get into just that type of film where I don't have to exert a ton of energy. It can just be on in a very peaceful, enjoyable way. I know, which is a little weird to say about a
Yes.
thriller ghost movie, but it's like you just kind of hang out. It's just on, and you know, it doesn't. I don't have to be like totally freaked out by it. I don't have to be. I don't know how to explain it. It's just more like just a nice, pleasant experience. Whereas I
Agreed.
get into other psychological thrillers that are more unnerving than this. Maybe,
Well, yeah.
maybe it's because it has a resolution at the end. It sort of has an ending. You know
Like,
what I
look
mean?
at the difference between this psychological thriller and, say, I was think it was it 2013? It was the remake of When a Stranger Calls,
Hmm.
and that has some genuinely terrifying moments in it, like legit terrifying moments. And I know it's based off of I think it's the 70s movie, which also is scary in its own right, but it is just the story of the babysitter in the house from beginning to end. It doesn't go into her as an adult. It's just, an hour and a half, 2 hours of that. And then the killer calling her, and it's terrifying. But now I can't just put that movie on and do my housework and enjoy and feel good. I can do that with this movie. I could put it on. It could be background as I'm doing stuff, puttering around, doing whatever I need to do. And I have the kind of Halloween feel. I've got Vincent Price's voice. It like checks all the boxes, but you summed it up perfectly. You could feel good and have a fun time without getting too freaked out or without getting too scared or without having to, sit down and concentrate on it or whatever. Definitely this is that movie. This is that movie.
So I couldn't agree more. I think it definitely has. First of all, I can always watch like the babysitter and the guy upstairs kind of thing. That's always my thing. Like I love Scream, right? Is that the one you're talking? I mean, Scream for me is
No. I'm talking about When a Stranger Calls, the
right, and there's a
remake.
remake, right, of
Yeah.
that as well.
Yeah.
Um,
That
I
one.
don't know that I care
But
for
I
the
like
remake.
Scream
I don't
too.
know
I
that
like
I've
Scream.
watched the remake. Is it
It's
good? Like the
good.
remake? Okay.
It's very, very good. And like I said, it's got some freaky high suspense moments where you're like, oh my gosh, that just jump scared me. What is
Oh,
going to
intensity.
happen?
Okay, right.
Very
I'm
intense.
following you now. Okay, yeah. So
And
I
the
remember
house
seeing the original
itself,
one.
the house itself in that movie too, kind of like in this one, but even more so, is a character because it's a beautiful house on a lake, but it's a freaky house on the lake, and you just have to watch the movie to see what I mean by that. It's good though.
Because I find, oh, hey, Shield Wall's here. Hey, brother, hope you're doing all right, man. Good to see you.
Hey.
Because Scream is the same problem I have with like Halloween or some of the others, where it's like they're like addictive. Like I watch one, the next thing I know I'm around the rabbit hole, and I've watched a couple.
Yeah.
So
That's
something
me.
like this is like a nice one and done. Yeah, you're right. It has an open-ended ending in a way, but it also has enough of a close that I don't feel like I need to watch another movie, whatever that may be. But it's good.
Yeah.
I wish we did more of this. I wish they just good. You know, the other thing too is we were talking about it earlier, and I really didn't go down the rabbit hole then, but I'm going to go down with it now. Is that they don't even do good mystery now. Like mystery is sort of a lost genre right now, right? We had, because
Yeah.
to me, I guess Knives Out was one, but that movie has not aged well. Like, good luck trying to rewatch that movie because now you'll see all of the flaws in the script. Like it's literally just mystery boxes and stuff. Like if you remotely start thinking it through, you're like, oh, there's all sorts of issues. And whatever the second one was, Glass Onion, is just stupid. It's just terrible. We grew up in an era where there were so many mysteries, all the Agatha Christie stuff and all
Oh
the just
yeah.
there was just so much content that was mystery driven, and it was just very thoughtful and interesting and dynamic. And even this, let's face it, there's a twist, and it's very obvious once you get the twist. But even then, you don't know how it's going to play out. You don't know who else could be involved. You don't know who's getting whom. And I feel like they just don't do any of this genre right now.
I think mystery as a prominent genre has gotten absorbed because so many different genres utilize mystery in their own stories now. It is not uncommon to, I mean, you're sitting there watching Game of Thrones and there's twist after twist after twist, mystery after mystery after mystery. There's a thing you got to solve. And that's just Game of Thrones. That, you know, that I wouldn't even consider that. I wouldn't consider that suspense. I wouldn't consider it horror. I wouldn't consider it mystery, even though it has all those elements in it. It is a fantasy drama. So I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying. I remember when mysteries were huge, and that's what they were. They were mysteries. But I think, you know, because it's so many other genres now to utilize it, it's not as, ooh, I'm going to go see this mystery tonight. Well, I can, you know, I could throw on whatever, and there might be a little plot twist somewhere down the road. I don't know. But that's a good point. I never thought about that before. That, yeah, mystery as a genre is now more psychological drama, if you will. I don't know.
Yeah, think about that. Because we just grew up on so much of that. So we're talking, and I'm like, okay, wait. We obviously grew up on some Sherlock Holmes, but Sherlock Holmes wasn't necessarily huge for us. But Agatha Christie stuff definitely was. You had a little bit of Philip Marlowe, but you had a massive amount of like Columbo and Sam Spade type stuff. Like that was very common. Nancy Drew was massive. Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew was massive when I was a little kid. It was huge. It predates me by a long shot, which meant by the time I came along, all that stuff was like in the used bookstores and things like, you know what I mean? So everyone had it. It was everywhere.
Yeah.
Perry Mason was like an everyday staple. And then you had all of like the other type of like TV shows that were like that, the courtroom drama mysteries. Obviously, Murder, She Wrote came along even a little bit later. So this stuff is, as we're talking about, I realized, wait a minute. So in addition to like all this classic film that already existed from the 50s and the 60s and beyond, where they were mystery driven or at least crime or whatever, I realized, man, my mom and the family, they watched this kind of stuff. It was all the time. Even like Davy Jones has more mystery and twists in it than some TV now. That's a sad state of affairs.
Well, my mystery girl growing up was Trixie Belden. I loved those books. And she went around, she was like, you know, my version of Nancy Drew was Trixie Belden.
Good call. Good call.
And
This is a good show that I got to get to. Everyone and their brother talks about how good Silo is. It's an Apple thing, so I don't have an easy access to it. So it's one of those things I have to kind of go show by show. It's a little tedious if those of you understand how you get in your boat and kind of sail around a little bit. It's a little more complicated to do something you don't own. So But yeah, Shield Wall, I definitely am going to try to get to that. But yeah, there's some good stuff. That's good.
I sometimes wonder if the TV show Lost killed the mystery genre for modern viewers because that show went on and on and on and on, and every time you thought you had something figured out, even the characters didn't know what was going on.
My,
Just
so I have a joke in my house that Lost is a 4-letter word to Mrs. Pops.
I believe it because I stopped watching it like I think it
Time
was
travels and smoke monsters.
right before the last season. Yeah, I just did not care anymore. I did not care.
The whole season that was like not a season. It was a time like she was just like, what in the name of holy F are you? I mean, she just had this. The look on her face with the whole heaven and hell metaphor was just like, oh, I am in so much trouble making her finish the show with me. She was suffering. So yeah, she will use Lost to mock a show now. So when we're watching something that is subpar, she makes a Lost reference. And it's almost like it's that and Aliens. She's like, this show's getting to be too much like Lost. Or she'll say, Aliens has jumped the shark. Those are her two things. I know so that's it. You think I am terrible as a critic? She would, trust me, she hates everything. Like, she is just the worst. And if we both hate it, it's absolute dog crap. Like, it's if we both hate it, like sometimes she'll like it or she'll say, you're being too hard on it. And I'll be like, oh, it's a qualified thing, which means like I don't like it, but I can see why, white suburban women will like it or something like that. So I get it. Copa's in the house. Copa brother.
Hey,
hit me up, man. Keep me posted what's going on, man. Good to see you. So yeah, I couldn't need more. It's been fun, but it's been so much fun to enjoy spooky season with something we could do that was so retro. I enjoyed rewatching it again today. I just had such a nice time. And then, like I said, it kind of took me down the rabbit hole. For those of you didn't hear, so yeah, Saturday I'll do my first sort of like creature feature thing. Probably started at my normal time, 10:15 is when the algorithm and I have kind of just agreed on a time slot for old pops. And a little creature feature, some retro Halloween commercials, and just fun stuff like that. It'd be kind of cool to do that. And then it goes well. Hopefully the algorithm and all the stuff doesn't just totally blow up my copyright claims on a public domain movie because I don't trust them. We'll see what happens.
I know. Yeah.
If that works well, then I'll do probably Carnival of Souls and Night of the Living Dead for sure, and then kind of go down the list because there's a whole bunch that are like, oh, I'd love to get one more person to see this. That's my goal. And then we always talk about that, right? If we get one more person to watch this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Shield Wall. So I can't get the freaking sound to share. So I'll pull it back up if you guys want it, because I have them, and it is amazing having to go back and find these commercials. And those of you who don't know Pops' brand, I'm a massive commercial like nut over stuff. So for sure. Let's see. I'm trying to find out where to start because there's so many commercials. It's like 40 minutes. I have tagged it for 40 minutes of stuff in here. So I have to clip and find pieces of it. We'll see. To share audio, share the link. It just won't share it will not share the thing. It's so silly. I don't understand why.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it wants me to like probably share it through YouTube or something. It's probably what it wants me to do. I don't want to do that.
Oh, that could be. Yeah, that could be.
So we'll just share it, and there just won't be audio. Sorry, you'll have to check back whenever I put it in, and there will be audio. Oh, how's that? All right, let's see what's up next. I literally just started it in the middle somewhere, so that's where we're at. We'll see what happens next. So, oh yeah, Halloween masks. That's my favorite spot. So again, I chose this because of these masks. So those of you guys don't remember, the plastic masks, it's just completely insane to breathe in them. There's the Kodak commercial. Spooky Goop. Here's some Skittles commercials.
Oh, aren't they cute?
So just old retro commercials. So many cartoons. Look at this shenanigans. Look how bad that is. It's supposed to be a Yoda costume, guys. It's literally like the plastic mask, and then they didn't even make anything that looks like Yoda. It's just a picture of Yoda on the chest. Like this this is sort of like the first era run of some of those things. It's so bad. So I think some companies should just 100% shield wall. 100%. There's no like. When's the last time, other than like the Super Bowl, which usually everyone's just let down over Super Bowl commercials. But other than that, their commercials are not making the public lexicon and the pop culture penetration like they used to.
They're not. I canceled my cable solely because of the commercials. I was sick of them. I was tired of them.
Yeah.
They just don't have the, I don't know, the charm that they used to. I don't know what it is.
Yeah. So yeah, I found it's like an hour and a half or so of just these old commercials that I'm just gonna put together. We'll come out and just do it. This is them putting on makeup. This is that makeup that would just like stain your face the next day.
Yes, it
would. You'd wash it off, but not all the way.
Or you thought you got it, and then you'd sweat, and there'd be little rivers of color in your face.
Look at that green. Dude is gonna have some green the next. Oh, she's gonna have yellow around her eyes the next day. And that crap's going to be in her eyes. She's going to be crying when she's trying to wash all that off. There you go, man. Look at that. Oh.
What was that stuff made out of? Is that grease paint?
It's got to be. It's just cheap, terrible stuff for us all. So, it's like an old, like the early effects on Diet Coke commercial. I think I remember that one. Yeah. Yeah, there's just a million of these. Here's a Freddy commercial. Freddy 2. I recognize this homoerotic themes and Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yes.
Here's some cupcakes.
It's like
it's a donut. It's a donkey.
Looks so good.
Yeah, it's donkey.
All of them want a piece.
Yes. Yeah. Just go down memory lane with all these commercials. So yeah, check that out. We'll be doing that. And then the nice thing about that too is I'll have them all sort of like stored away, locked and loaded in the giant vault of like massive amounts of. I have hundreds and hundreds of commercials. You guys have been on Star Wars Day. You guys know Star Wars. It's just hundreds of commercials. So now we'll have a nice array of vintage Halloween commercials. So
that's awesome.
So all right, well we'll kind of wrap up here. I don't think we decided on. I'm kind of struggling with November and December, right? Because I want to try to find something kind of old school. And I was hoping Ironcaster could join us for tonight. Didn't quite work out, but I may have to make sure he is on for sure for next month if we decide to do this in November. Because November is going to be pretty close to Thanksgiving, like the week before. Mm-hmm. His take on Miracle on 34th Street is it's really as much of a Thanksgiving movie as it is a Christmas movie.
I know.
See that. It hurts. I know it hurts. Yeah. So the reason this is a hard one for me to refute is because I'm the one that makes the case for like Die Hard being a Christmas movie and such. Because I always say there's way more Christmas in Die Hard than there is in It's a Wonderful Life. And Ironcaster therefore icto facto says, well, yes, but if It's a Wonderful Life is a Christmas movie, then Miracle on 34th Street is a Thanksgiving movie. And you're like, crap. He's 100% ipso facto right based on that formula. So we may take Miracle on 34th Street, the original one, guys. Even though I don't hate the remake, it's okay, but the original one. So I'm hoping that I can lock him in for November, and we can just make the case that it's really a Thanksgiving movie we're here for. So
all right.
Yeah, so that will most likely be the November movie, and then we'll come up with something for Christmas that's not It's a Wonderful Life because it's almost too on the nose. We'll do something more fun that people haven't seen, like Holiday Inn or something.
How about Nightmare Before Christmas? Is that a Christmas movie, Halloween movie, or Thanksgiving movie?
It's the greatest of transitional movies, but for me, it's probably a Halloween movie.
Halloween movie. I agree, and my kids argue with me, but yeah, Halloween first. Mm-hmm. Halloween first.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm watching on Halloween, too. I'm watching that one. Even though I've seen it 1,000 times, don't care. Watching it on Halloween.
So what is your, you have a top, every year you always watch these 3 movies for October.
Oh, yeah. Disney's Ichabod Crane.
Oh, yeah.
Wind in the Willows / Ichabod Crane. That set, I usually just fast forward through Wind in the Willows. That frog annoys me. But I will watch Ichabod Crane I start that in September,
Awesome.
and that goes all the way through. I love it. Headless Horse is my favorite ghost story. So I've seen the Jeff Goldblum one. I've seen ones of guys I don't even know their names. I've seen the Tim Burton one, Sleepy Hollow. So pretty much anything, got brought the Brom Bones song on my phone as a ringtone right now. That if I want to watch something kind of like this that makes me feel good but is more of a comedy, I will watch The Munsters or Addams Family.
Yeah.
I'll throw those on. The original Halloween, can't go wrong with that. Cannot go wrong with the original Halloween film.
That's the
And let's
top
see,
of my list. I
I
watched
think.
Halloween 78. I watched
Hmm.
The Thing. And I watched American Werewolf in London. Those are my 3 staples.
Yeah.
And then, let's be honest, I probably have to be honest and say I always watch Scream. Maybe not multiple Screams during October, but over the course of the whole month, at some point or another, it's probably on. Even if I don't watch every single minute of it, it's just on. Um,
Yes.
and
I
then
do
I'm with
enjoy
you
Screams.
where some of those others, they're just like Nightmare Before Christmas is on. I don't know that I watch every single minute of it. I don't know what,
Hmm.
I watched The Crow in October. Again, I usually watch it 2 or 3 times a year, but I watch it again in October for sure. So things like that. So it's a fun
Hmm.
time. It's a fun time to feel. And it's kind of nice because I feel like it does close the book on this genre for me. And it takes people like Loki to take me out of my comfort zone and make me watch like Violent Night and Santa's Sleigh. So which I have to be honest, are completely entertaining, and I had a blast watching them. But yeah, definitely for sure. So, but folks, yeah, you guys, it's been good. Arwyn, it's always wonderful hanging out with you, lady.
Oh, I love coming on here too. I love hanging out with you too, Pops. I always have a good time and I always learn something, which is really, I don't know, that's kind of important to me.
Yeah,
So you taught me stuff tonight. Yay!
yeah. Well, we just love hanging out and having some fun, and there's usually
Yeah.
some. I try to find some things to. And that's usually what kind of makes people think I know stuff. It's like, well, just let's try to learn 1 or 2 things as I go, and just like gradually over time, when you watch something 15 times, you picked up enough stuff to sound like you know something. So
True.
that's how I feel about it. And I've watched The Thing 37 times. So it's like I know quite a lot about this movie because I've looked so much stuff up.
Yeah.
And I just love just good stuff, right? Just love feeling good, and this is one of those movies that's been doing that. So, and like
Definitely.
yourself, I just love good company and hanging out, having a laugh, and chat.
Yes.
You guys are amazing, and
Yes.
love seeing more of your guys' work out there. You guys be supporting one another. Be blessed. Talk hard. Take care. Till next time. I am Pops.
Bye, y'all.